How to fix the dreaded Ford F-150 slip bump problem. So it goes without saying, jack your freaking truck up. There's the drive shaft. It's a two-piecer. That middle piece there's the little slip joint that's got the splines in it. Yeah, that piece right there. You're going to have to pop that little clamp off and to be able to take it apart to get to it. So what I did was I sanded a little area down because you need to mark it before you do this. You're going to have to put this back together the exact same way because it comes balanced. So you're going to have to mark it. Remember to only mark it on one spot on each end though. I wanted to mark it in multiple places, and then I said, wait a minute, what if I accidentally line the wrong marks up? It wouldn't be perfectly balanced anymore. So yeah, just put one mark on each end. So I'm marking it down here on the rubber, and I'm marking it a little bit past the end of the lip too, just in case I accidentally wear that off. And I'm going to do the same thing down here where the yoke is. Yeah, so just mark it right here where one of the bolts are, and then on that little plate also. Yeah, I was going to use chalk, but that would rub right off, so a silver permanent marker works perfectly well for this. You're going to have to break that loose. Anyone who's ever done this before knows that they're a pain in the butt. Try not to tear the boot up. The whole point of that boot's to keep dirt and water and stuff off of that spline, so don't rip any holes in the boot. I recommend trying to tear that off from the other side, but I just couldn't get to it. Um, Once you stick a screwdriver in that kind of big open area and twist it, it should loosen up enough where you can get one under there and pop it loose. And then you'll see it just sort of pop. Yep, just like that. It sort of breaks loose, and you can just take it off. And then you want to go down to the other end and break the other ones loose. Now, I watched another video where the guy said to have this in neutral. The problem is you can't break those loose with this in neutral. So you're going to have to break those loose, take them loose, have somebody put it in neutral, spin the drive shaft, have them either put it back in neutral or put the parking brake on, break them loose, and so on and so forth. So it really helps to have a second person helping you with this. Getting out and climbing up and doing all that's a pain in the butt. But once you get them all off, they say to bang this with a mallet. I had to use a big flat screwdriver to go in there and pry that. But here's the kit that I bought on Amazon. This is what it looks like right here. You don't have to buy this exact one, but you do have to get this Ford lubricant kit. So it has to be a specific type of grease. It's like titanium or something. And I just used it. I like that this has that little pointy end because I could put it in between each one of the splines. You have to use all of this. They give you the right amount. It doesn't seem like you're getting enough at first, but you really are. So I went around and I did that, and then I sprayed it all over the outside just like this, and then rubbed it in with my fingers. Make sure you pull that boot back a little bit and get all the little spare, or get all the section in there that you can't really see. Yeah, just like that. And then I put the whatever I had left over, I left a little bit out to put inside the female end. And then make sure with your new clamp, you're going to want to slide that on first before you put the boot on. I ended up using a regular hose clamp because these are a pain in the butt to get clamped shut without the proper tool. And I didn't have one, so I just didn't use that, and I used a regular hose clamp. But you just hold it on, hold it up there, line this up, make sure your marks are lined up. When you slide that on, you can't, once you get that in, you can't turn it because the splines are all going to line up. So slide that in, you're going to have a lot of waste come out. That's okay. But you see how the marks are lined up? Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they're 100% lined up on the other end. So once you get that down there, you might have to turn it a little bit, but just pull that boot out till it goes in place. There's a little notch or something where it fits. And I wiped all that excess grease off because I don't want any underneath my clamp. I don't want the clamp to come loose or anything. So you just sort of set that up in place on the other end and get you a bolt started to hold it in place before you put the clamp on down here. Yeah, you see how there was a little bit of play just now when I turned that? Yeah, that was just me lining up the mark that I had on the other end. And like I said, I'm going to clean all that off with a rag. All right, so you see how those marks are lined up right there? There we go. So you just line that up, you set it in place where it goes, you start threading the bolts in by hand. Here's me putting the hose clamp on, and this is just a regular hose clamp. I don't remember what size it was, but you have to use a torque wrench down here to 76 foot-pounds. Make sure it's set to 76. Torque those all down. Do the same thing you did before where you're having somebody take it in and out of park, or in and out of, take the emergency brake off. Once you get everything hooked back up, you should be good to go. All right, I'm finished up. This is the moment of truth. Let's find out if it worked. Wish me freaking luck. I hope it wasn't a transmission problem. All right, here we go, y'all. Okay, it did not do it when I stopped. One more time. Stop. It did not do it. It freaking did not do it. I thought I had a transmission problem when I bought this. I just bought this truck. I am so glad to find out that all it was I needed to lube my freaking spline. Yep, look at that. It didn't do it. It did not do it. The bump is gone. Thanks for watching, y'all. And remember, if you can't do it yourself, do it with Chomp.